On this episode of the Chicago Real Estate Secrets podcast, we're going to talk to Mr. Chris Pezza. Chris is a full-service broker and property manager with 15 years experience and even has a master's degree in real estate. He is a 2018 and 2019 top producer for the Chicago Association of Realtors and won the 2019 Realtor Achievement Award. He's highly decorated and even cooler to talk to on the phone. So why don't you listen in and grab a couple of nuggets? Mr. Chris Pezza here is going to be dropping some knowledge on how to have a whole bunch of fun in this business. You know, this business we're in, it's like a family, right? It's like the Chicago family. And you want to know all the secrets and the tips and how to be in the family and how to be one of the elite? Then you need to listen to this podcast. Hey, I'm Mike Wazorek, and I'm going to tell you all the Chicago top real estate secrets. I'm going to talk to the innovators, the movers, and the shakers. These are the people you want to be in the family with. So tap in. Let's roll.
All right, Chris. So we're going to dive in here, man. Got a good question for you, a nice meaty question. Who is Chris Pezza? Who's the man on the other side of this screen right now?
Right now, I'm just a guy confined to his home office, but I think that goes for all of us, hopefully.
Yeah.
We probably met each other when we were 3 years old, I think, playing Berkeley baseball, 4 years old, T-ball. Since then, a lot's happened. I got into real estate when I was about 19 years old, and just fell in love with it. Really took an affinity to teaching and educating and, giving back to the industry through various boards like the Illinois Realtors and Chicago Association of Realtors as a board of director. Teaching CE classes for these associations. Really spent the last couple of years honing my property management skills, making sure buildings can run and investors' equity is well protected, their retirement, stuff like that. Love working with ma and pa's. Love the people I meet in this business. Love working with first-time investment buyers, helping them establish their portfolio. And the rest is pretty much what you see, just casual guy in a hat here.
Well, yeah, casual guy in a hat, but also I think most importantly is something that I associate with as well, is knowing your craft and knowing that the people on the other side of it are humans that really need some guidance, really need somebody they can trust. And it's our job to really gain that. And behind the sale of a home is so much more. And we can be a resource ongoing for those people, whether they do or do not do business with us. Like, hey, we connected for some reason. And I know my craft very well. So if you need something within it, contact me. Let me know. I'm available, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, the key word is trust. Your clients have to trust you. You have to trust them. If you're honest, if you do right by them, I mean, this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And the more you do right by people, the more clients will come, the more money will come. That shouldn't be people's concern out of the gate, is making $1 or, creating an image for themselves on social media or anything like that. It should just be helping people. What we do is awesome. We put people in homes, or, on the commercial side, we help people capture their, dream investments so they can get to the retirement that they dream of. So either way, we're really making that American dream come true, and there's something special with that.
Yeah. And diving deep right into that context is those people in the commercial properties, those properties are being sold, bought and sold for typically, right, a business to function within it, and people to earn revenue to then go feed their families back home. So like all these spaces, all these people need help and can likely pass on, the good word of how you help them, and they're going to be able to help others as a way of either having a secure home or just maybe having that business where other people can come and be employed. So it's a big deal. It's good.
Yep.
So let me bring us right into the real estate business as a whole. Everyone's got an opportunity to go down their own path, if you will. Mine was very, very unconventional in the way that I ended up in the mortgage industry. I'm someone who hates numbers. I hate math. I do it all day. I also hate people who wear Bluetooths. I think they're douches. I wear one all day. I'm a douche because of it. But how do you fall into real estate? How do you fall into commercial and property management? And then also, you're pretty much you've touched all aspects of real estate. So how do you fall into all those buckets?
Well, if you're asking me how I got started, I like to joke when I was a kid, I loved architecture and couldn't draw. And then I got really good at Monopoly and said, hey, how do I do this for a living? But all joking aside, I mean, I think it's in my blood. You know, my dad's a real estate attorney. My mom's a real estate broker. You guys have actually done a deal together before. My brother works for a developer in New York. My sister has her license. I've got uncles, grandparents, so many people in the family that have a license. You know, we're all Italian and we're all strong-willed, so we realized we can't work together.
Yeah, right.
Probably be at each other's throats all day.
I understand that.
But we're all in real estate, so that's kind of just how I ended up here. I took a great internship when I was 19. I was actually selling manufactured home communities. My first deal that I did sort of on my own was a small manufactured home community in Henry, Illinois that had problems. I was able to solve those, you know, work with the local EPA, work with all sorts of different branches of government, you know, educate this buyer on the upside, where to source homes, really just be a resource for buyer, seller, and everyone else in the deal. And, you know, got that one done. So I also like to joke, if you can sell a mobile home park that barely has running water, you know, you can sell anything. But, you know, the buyer bought it and ended up filling up, you know, 39 spaces, 39 more families that had a home that otherwise wouldn't. So,
Awesome.
You know, that's really what it's all about. And sort of from there, you know, I rode the first cycle, you know, 2006, 2007, where everything was great, made a lot of money as a kid straight out of college. Hit 2009, didn't make a penny for like 6 months. So, you know, that was a struggle, kind of similar to what we're going through in a smaller scale right now. And at that moment, I learned, you know, what can I do in real estate to guarantee that I have a paycheck and still help people in times like this? That's when I got property management. You know, realizing that if I can help people maintain, you know, their revenue source in downtimes, you know, it's still a little bit of a paycheck. Sort of scaled up from there. And, you know, now where I sit in real estate is I don't really have a niche. You know, my niche is I want to be the guy where if you have a real estate question or a real estate goal, you come meet together, we figure it out, we solve it. You know, people like to say they're a specialist in downtown condos or suburban or street retail. You know, my theory is you're a specialist in whatever the task in front of you is. You're going to spend the time, you're going to do the research, talk to the right people, crunch the numbers for your client. So, you know, whatever the real estate problem is, throw it at me and we'll work together and we'll come up with a solution. That's my niche.
Appreciate that. You know your craft and you're there to help. So when people ask questions and you hope they do, you have answers. It's appropriate. We really do have an opportunity to help people. And for those of you guys listening that don't know Chris, he's involved in everything and anything that, you know, could be helping people from a large scale in real estate. So even if you follow him on social media, you'll see it on a personal level, you know, helping homeless people, right? Like there was a gentleman that you probably are still in contact with that you were, you know, just helping off the street when you saw him eating out of a dumpster. I mean, it starts with the little things, but that's really who you are. And, you know, I think being involved in that type of stuff keeps you humble and lets you know, hey, you know, one, it could be worse. Two, it can be better. And you can help those that aren't in a good position right now get maybe to a point where they can help others down the road that were once where they are now. And that's cool to see somebody that's very forward focused on the little, short, and long plays, in my opinion. So thank you for what you do as well. You know, I've always looked for mentors in my life, right? Whether it was in sports or even the bad things I did in my life. I was like, who's the best at it, you know? And I finally attached myself to, you know, a good coach in my professional career, and it changed my life in a lot of great ways. You have, you know, a different type of sphere, right? You have a multi-layered sphere, I think, right? Like different arms of it, if you will. And so who do you use as your like main mentors, and how did you find them? And what do you see as in the value of having somebody like that in place?
So great question. I've actually been very fortunate to have lots of great mentors in my life. First and foremost, obviously my parents, both in real estate, raised me right, taught me to always do right by my clients. So thank them every day, love them very much. In college, I was fortunate enough when I took an internship to work with a man named Rick Jab, fabulous mentor. He was the guru of speaking in metaphors and teaching real estate and the right process on how to do everything. It was funny when I later went to grad school and sort of learned all this stuff from professors. It's basically just reiterating everything he taught me. So shout out to Rick Jebb. Thank you very much for all that you did for me. Other names I'd just like to thank: Brian Bernardoni, former GAD for the Illinois Realtors; Dan Wagner, former president of CAR, really took me under his wing. Just so many people along the way that have just done so much for me, including my current boss, Tyson Schutz. We're learning from each other every day. So, the important thing is whoever your mentors are, whoever's out there, I mean, you can learn from everybody. If you listen and you pay attention and you collaborate, there are so many bright minds out there, so many people who care in our industry, and they really can all be mentors in some way. So.
Absolutely. And so what have you seen has been the greatest benefit of having these people available to you in your life?
Really just, the ability to check myself and make sure I'm doing things right, and, not veering from that path and from that goal of helping people. And trust me, a lot of the people that I've named and a lot of people that I've become friends with in the industry are very quick to call me out if they see me veering off that path. So I appreciate, all those people and everything they do. But, a friend of mine, Tommy Choi, always says iron sharpens iron. And, it's true. So if you're always collaborating with brokers and not competing against them, everybody grows, not just one person in that situation. So I really find that to be true and value that.
So yeah, Chris, that's a great way to say it, as far as iron sharpens iron. And I'm a true believer in that. Definitely coming from like that abundance mindset, right? That there is enough for everybody. And that if we all share our tips, tricks, or real estate secrets, and that's the name of this podcast, right? If we can share that with each other and not keep it a secret, right? The secret is that there is no secrets. The secret is to share everything and let everybody know everything, all your, who you really are, what you really have to offer, what this really, costs the buyer or the seller to do business with you. What really works to put buyers at ease. Tell your competitors, right? Tell them how you do your work, right? That's okay. It doesn't mean there's less for you. So I really attach myself to that belief system too. And coaching for me has really, the value isn't my individual sessions. It's the people that also have, invested in themselves in the coaching and then getting together with them and collaborating. So I couldn't agree with that more. And it's something that's changed my life, both personally and professionally. So really happy to hear that too. So for those people out there, and everybody has their own form of team, right? Some people believe in that structure. Some people, have just a bunch of chiefs. Other people just want a tribe of sorts and attach themselves to different institutions. But if you had if you had some insight for somebody looking to find their tribe or their thing, what piece of advice could you, maybe a new realtor, could be an old realtor, somebody looking to get back on their feet after we all get out of lockdown, where should people, look to find a mentor or a coach or some sort of tribe that they can attach themselves to?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, the obvious answer is sort of within your existing network, at your office. I've never really worked on a team, but I've also never really worked totally independently, right? Everything we do at the office is intertwined. When we're in a transaction, we're sort of on a team with the other broker, even though it feels like we're not.
Absolutely.
So I think, in my experience, teams and partnerships, or whatever you want to call them, have sort of happened organically. There's been deals that I've had where I want to work with my seller, but, maybe somebody in my office knows medical office better than me. So
I partner or co-list with them. Maybe I get a listing that is, West Side industrial stuff, which I know enough about, but somebody might know more. So I partner with them. So I encourage people to look within their office and just ask. Everyone in this business seems willing to help. That's why we're here. So if people just ask, others in their office, hey, can I pick your brain? Can you help me with this? I'm sure they'd be surprised at the results. The second place I'd recommend is the Chicago Association of Realtors actually has a mentorship program. I am signed up to be a mentor on there. They partner new brokers with experienced brokers. There's like set check-ins throughout the year, but there's also the ability to just reach out and say, hey, I'm doing my first transaction. My managing broker is not available. I can't really get an answer to this. Can I pick your brain? What would you do in this situation? Or, my managing broker said this. I'm looking for a second opinion. So that's a great program out there. And the Chicago Association, really has some great tools for people in all aspects. I'm sure, out in your neck of the woods, Main Street offers the same. So.
Yeah, and it's, again, it's just such an invaluable resource to have not only one, but a network of people that not only are willing, but want to really be of help, be of service, because they're benefiting the entire industry by being that way. And I think Absolutely. That's the bigger picture, in our industries, unfortunately, we've gotten a little bit of a bad rap. Like we're all like just looking to get over on somebody. And we kind of have to get past that in some respects, in certain aspects of our careers. And I think it's important for us to all do our part in showing not only each other, but, our communities and upward from there, right? Vertically, if you will, that, hey, we're doing this for good purpose. We can be trusted for these reasons. We are very transparent, and by doing that, we can really clean up the whole industry and get back what we should have is with the trust. The people that are really in this business to serve will shine through, especially in a time like this. It might be harsh to say, but this is a time of like cleansing of a lot of different things. Like there's going to be some people that emerge from this that are broken from being a realtor or whatever, because they haven't done anything at this point while we sit here across, from a camp. We'd love to do this in person, right? But we can't, right? If you haven't set your network up, you haven't set yourself up, you haven't set, your clients up and your friends and everybody else to function in a capacity that we have never done before, you don't function at all. You can't make revenue right now in this industry unless you have the trust of people that can't be with you. It's not the time to earn trust. It's the time to, let those that trust you lean on you. And so,
yeah, absolutely.
It's just one of those things that we, I'm passionate about that within our industry. Like we're doing a good thing here, and I want to make sure that people know that we can be a trusted resource and that where the professionals are and that they care, that they can be trusted. So thank you for all that you do in pushing that message too. Like, hey, we're here and you're part of a mentor program, which just speaks volumes because it obviously, goes to the top of that list of those people that believe in that philosophy. So thank you.
And to that point, I mean, now is a great time to be seeking a mentor. And I've spent most of my week doing one-on-one Zoom meetings with a lot of the agents in our office. I'm leading a Zoom class tomorrow for our newer agents on how to navigate the buy side of a transaction. If anyone out there has any questions, wants to talk about their business model, shoot me a Facebook message. I'd be happy to spend, 10, 20 minutes with anybody, anytime, how we can help each other get through this and come out better. I mean, really the agents right now that are focusing on their business model and their marketing and their goals and, just reestablishing those long-term relationships that they've had. Those are the people that are going to come out of this stronger and better and ready to hit the ground running. So you absolutely hit the nail on the head with your response as well.
Yeah. So, and not to go too much more into it, but I think it's important, especially now, that people do connect. If you are somebody, you're even not associate, you just happen to catch this podcast and you're not a realtor, have no attachment to it, but you're listening to it. This is a time where if you have transacted with people, whether you are in a commission business or not, this is the time where you should be going back to your database and getting it in order, so that you don't start calling them all right now, maybe, but get that in order so you can comb through that and say, wow, if it's all on pieces of paper, then put it into the computer and then find somebody who can put it into a file for you, or do something so you can come out of this with a business that can help the people that have already said yes to you, that like and trust you.
Yeah, and I feel like people want to talk right now. I mean, this is great. I mean, I've been talking to my fish behind me here all week, so being face to face with someone in any capacity is better than just being totally isolated. So yeah, if you're out there, if you're listening, reach out. Zoom with each other, bounce ideas off each other, collaborate. Don't let this stop you from learning and growing.
Yeah, and we hope to get this out in a timely manner, but if we don't, hopefully we're all past this crap and we have done these things. But more than ever in this time and past this, when it all does pass, and it will, we have to utilize technology. This is also a time where, for me, I think about everything very deeply now, and this is not happening for no reason, but it's happening for good reason, right? And it doesn't mean that. I think that the power is in contrast. You have to really look at the bad and pull the good out of it and see what's happening. And right now, we have so many opportunities to connect with family and to do those things that we otherwise never made time for, said we didn't have time for. Well, now we're locked in our homes and in those, places where we can do these things. But connect with your family, and also connect with the people that allow you to feed your family. This is a real thing, right? The people that you care about. Well, the people you transact with are the ones that help you take care of the people that you love and created and married and, helped you out in life. So it's important to connect, and I agree. Any way you can, Zoom meetings are appropriate right now. So my last question for you is, I think you're going to like it, and I'm very intrigued by your answer, but what is the one thing that you absolutely know to be a fact that nobody else agrees with you
on? Oh man, it's a tough question. You know what I'd probably say, and I get pushback on this all the time and people laugh at me. I truly believe that you do not need to pay for a CRM. If
That's good.
If you learn Google and what Google's capable of, and you have a Google platform email, Google Sheets, Google Docs, Google Calendar, all the features of Google can do virtually everything that a CRM does for free. I had Act for a little while. I had Salesforce for a while. Honestly, I felt like it was a lot of money on, something I didn't need to spend my money on. I learned Google Sheets. I've got everything in there. It can do everything I want it to do. Mailers, remind me of people's move-in dates for rental transactions, remind me of people's birthdays if I wanted to send birthday cards. You can do all that stuff through Google Sheets if you really learn how to do it. Another good friend of mine in the industry, Dave Nassau, said, and I like this, he goes, the best CRM is the one you're actually going to use. And, people spend all this money on it and they don't use it, or I've seen people that literally still use a notebook and they write down all their people in a notebook and they carry that around wherever they go. And, hey, if that's what's going to work for you, use that.
Mm-hmm.
But I firmly believe that you don't need to spend all this money on a CRM. There's other ways to do it. So
I agree with both of those statements. That the second one is just, everybody that I respect in this industry has had that same answer. Because I was that guy. I was searching for it. There's got to be this perfect thing. And it's like, well, shit, I don't know how to use any of them, really. Yeah. I don't really know how to use any of them. And for me personally, I'm just not going to learn, because I'm more of a sprinter. So they always said, well, Mike, it's the one that you're going to use. So if it's a pen and paper, then grab the pen and get the paper and write the names down. and then keep writing them down, right? And so I agree with you. If people want to learn how to follow up with clients, if they want to know how to, to do an open house, if they want to learn how to get on the camera, they just need to do it and then keep doing it. However, they know how to do it horribly, right? Just show up, do it, put it in a calendar, put it in a Rolodex, put it in your kid's head if they can get it back to you when you need it, put wherever you need to put it. Make sure that you continue to do it so that you can grab it, it's there, and actually utilize it. I think most people get hung up on trying to find the next thing that's going to bring them success or happiness. And really the next thing that they can do is the next right decision that gets them closer to it, right?
Right.
So, and I said before it was the last question, but there's also something I'm passionate about, and it is that one thing. And I believe that there is one thing that by way of doing it makes everything else easier or not necessary at all. And so if you have one thing that people can take off of this podcast, if they grab one thing that helps them, what would it be that will propel them in a personal or professional manner that they can focus on?
I'd say just do it from the heart. Like if you're always if you're always doing what you think is right, you can always defend that. I've made so many mistakes in my life, countless mistakes. And people ask me, why did you do that? And I said, here's my case. Here's what I did. I felt it was the right thing. And even if the other side doesn't agree with me, and even if it was the wrong decision, everyone can understand that and appreciate that and respect that. So, it sounds simple. It sounds cliche, but it's so true. I mean, just, do things from your heart, do what you think is right. So.
And I think it's such a humble way to say, take responsibility for your shit. If you're going to do something, just own up, like tell the story then. That has helped me in my life too, to take responsibility. If something happens to me and I get, someone runs into my car and I get rear-ended, well, I could have went a different route. I could have left earlier, man. I could have left later. I could have asked that person to come to me. We just need to take responsibility in life for those things that happen to us, because they didn't happen to us. They happened because of us in some way. And I think it's powerful when you take responsibility and you say, hey, that's me, my fault. This is why, and let's move forward. Wow, you actually develop friendships out of this contrast. That's what I was talking about. I think the power is in the contrast. You just own up. People are like, all right, cool. No, that's not how it works, but I appreciate you for saying it. And that's cool.
Right.
So we could do this or whatever, something different. Opportunities come from owning up to maybe, accepting victories and owning up when you fail, and being very, very true to yourself and letting people know, why you did what you did. And I think that's where I've linked up with some of the closest friends in my life, was we either fist fought or something happened where there was this situation and we came together on whatever terms, like two rams on the side of a mountain, and came out best friends. So I think when you show up as you, and you do, which is why I really appreciate you, is just, that's where the power is. So
yeah, and I wish more people, understood that concept you just mentioned. I mean, just the other day, we had gotten one of those Facebook tiffs with someone where you're going at each other, and I messaged this individual, and it turns out he's a real estate attorney. And after talking through Facebook Messenger for 5 minutes, we realized we both want the same thing. We just see very different ways of getting there. And I think when you look at a lot of the issues, and I'm speaking outside of real estate now, that's how a lot of us think. We all want the same thing. We just see very different ways of getting there. Mm-hmm. And if you put all those people at the table and collaborated and spoke, great ideas come out of that. And that's how stuff gets done, and that's how the world gets better. So definitely what you said is very important, and people need to understand, hey, there might be some contrast and some resistance at first, but talk about it, say what's in your heart, ask questions, collaborate. And that's how stuff really gets done. So
I say look for it too, right? I look for that. I look for the contrast. I go look for the fear. I go look for the where I'm uncomfortable. Let's go find that. And if we can solve problems, that's where you change lives. And if you solve big problems, you save more lives or change more lives. So I respect the way that you entered the business. It was a considerably different way for me, and I just shared that on a podcast that I was interviewed on, and it was selling pot. I literally sold pot into a guy that owned a mortgage company back in the day. And dude was like, well, why don't you sell mortgages? And I was like, what's a mortgage? He told me, and I said, I'll sell it. Perfect. And it got me out of selling pot. You know what I'm saying? Like when he went out of business, because he was really a crook. Well, I only got, a taste of what a mortgage was. And then I opened up my own company within 12 months, and things happened up and down from there. But it's just crazy how contrast brings you into situations where, wow, I developed a career 18 years from 18
Yeah.
So anyway, man, I want to thank you so much for being you and sharing your story, and how you've also helped and continue to help people and acknowledge those that have helped you. And I just want to see, how can people get in touch with you? Facebook, phone number. How can people get in touch with you if they either have questions, want to get involved with CAR, the mentor program, or even figure out how to have a CRM with people?
Yeah, the mentor program and all the CE classes that CAR offers, those are at chicagorealtor.com. If people wanted to get in touch with me, Chris Pezza on Facebook, hey, send me a message. I'll do my best to respond. My email is Pezza, P-E-Z-Z-A @apartmentsource.com. Probably the best way to get me these days via email, but I'm available. I'm willing to help however I can. And it sucks we couldn't get together and do this in person. Would have been fun. Good to see you, but this is the world we're living in, and hopefully we can all do our part to isolate and be out of this soon. So
absolutely, man. And I appreciate you, making yourself available, even though you are very busy with, maintaining those relationships and mentorships or whatever it is that you're involved with, which is a lot. And so if you guys don't follow this guy on social media, he is very real, very funny, very serious, and just mixes life into his posts, which I, again, really appreciate when otherwise social media is kind of clouded with fairy tales and pixie dust and bullshit, if you ask me. So again, thank you so much, Chris, and it was a pleasure, man. Maybe we'll have round 2 in person.
yeah, you too, man. Appreciate it. Take care.
Be good.
All right, we'll see you. Here.